the news, breaking news. A roundup of the latest, craziest headlines. Hosted by yours truly, the incorrigible Mr. Zebo. Let's get started. This just caught my eye moments before gearing up to start the show. A headline from a news outlet called Complex. Are they fake news? Are they real news? You decide. But I think this might be a real thing that happened. Noted Obamacare hater Tomi Lahren admits being on Obamacare. Salon. Tomi Lahren reveals she personally benefits from, AOL, Tomi Lahren heads with admission about. Seems like if it's fake news, it's everywhere. Yahoo, Fox has it. Okay. Everybody's got it. The thing I'd like to go and interject that I think truly is newsworthy is that the vast majority of the people who are fighting for or in favor of ruining healthcare, ruining the healthcare system as it exists. Let's not conflate that with the general sense of healthcare. These people are all self-identified Christians. Jesus would be like, yo, I healed people for free. For free. For free. Did not charge them anything, did not ask them for money, did not profiteer on them being sick, and did not profiteer on how to make them healthier, did not profiteer on life-saving surgeries, If Jesus were here today, I think that's what he'd talk about at the GOP. I think he'd tell them that. So it's amazing that, obviously the hypocrisy of that person, bless her soul, whoever she is, because I don't know who she is, this Tomi Lahren. She's somebody famous that I've never heard of, who's more famous than me. Let's fix that, folks. You're my friends. You're my fans, my followers. By the way, I'm about to post this on Facebook, but I want to scoop it here on the news, because this is news. This breaks the news. If you're a listener listening to this podcast project, and you're a Facebook, friend and or follower, I want you to know that I don't think of you in those market objectified terms. I'm humbled by the fact that you're listening to this crazy project, and I think of you as extended family. And here's why. And this is a shocker. To some people, this is actually breaking news. If you compared, and this is already being done, there's some breaking headlines actually just yesterday, I think, that people, and this is a sidebar, that people, or one or more people have been arrested by police that have collaborated with those genealogy websites that will take samples of your DNA and try to find long lost ancient roots to your family and relatives you didn't know about. I always thought that sounded fishy, and I know no one, and this is like a real hard truth about our society, nobody reads the EULA. That's so true. Most people don't know what a EULA is. And user license agreement. But I digress. I don't think of any of my fans as fans. I don't think of any of my followers on Facebook as followers. This stands retroactively and future-castedly. I think of you as extended family. Why? If we were all to test each other's genetics, we'd find out that we are 99.99999999999999999% genetically identical. This is true of all human beings. This is true of every body that's a person. We are extended family. And People kind of blink at that and dismiss it and throw it out with the bathwater, but I think it's profoundly important, and that it should be on the news, and that people should be talking about it in big, earth-shattering, whoa, that changes the way I think about everything. Because it does, if you really grip it and wrap your brain around it. Or better yet, just kick your brain right out. And let it be known that if you hate someone across the street, across the country, across the planet, they are your brother or your sister. Literally. Because we are all one family, one genetic sample, one species that is literally all related. And if that doesn't humble your ass, then your ego's really got a good tight grip on your brain and your thinking and your perception of the world. Back to some news items I wanted to touch on. A moment of deep respect and sorrow. I don't always speak out when there's tragedies, but this one hits close to home. Just a few minutes north of me in the city of Los Angeles, apparently a van plowed into a crowd and hurt 8 people. This headline of ticking along on Fox News thingy. Not going to go dive deep there. I never do on those ones. Just whoever is affected, I know your pain and your sorrow, and we all empathize and sympathize with you. And this, of course, should be reverberated throughout to everyone that's ever been affected by any act of violence, whether it was real, whether it was quote-unquote fake, whether it was whatever the fuck. Violence happens, people die, and people are left bereaved, grieving. And we should always honor that and know it to be around the corner for all of us. And I don't think of this, we should live outside of fear of that. Because the way to end it is to heal the species. But I've already gone on a rant about that. How's about Al Gore's new book, huh? An Inconvenient Sequel. I envy his catchy titles, especially this one. I kind of want to use that for something, but it's now taken. I applaud him. There's a lot of bravery, I guess, in that, as much as a politician, a former politician, can afford. Because, yes, we really are facing a climatological crisis. But we need to transcend our thinking about it beyond regulation, beyond the argument of whether or not the earth is at our disposal or our stewardship. I think the point that is not being raised in public discourse that's really worth deep investigation and considering it breaking news to many people is that earth is not a place. And I know, anybody who follows me close enough, I'm a little broken record about that, because unrelated to sort of just the news and the climate stuff, there's this whole raging flat earth trend. And I'm convinced that's a psyop. Whenever you see subgroups of people that otherwise ought to be getting along, in other words, like medium, not terribly well off, but not under the poverty line Americans, who have internet access on a consistent basis. When you see groups like that, generally homogeneously sort of middle America, arguing rabidly, crazily about a really silly division that's sort of then you know that there's some social engineering going on behind it, and you should be really, really wary of just getting suckered into either side. Breaking news, folks. If this is breaking news to you, welcome to the club. Mother Earth is not a place. I think I've said it before, and I'll probably be forced to say it again. She is a living entity. We are not here with the liberty to commoditize her. All right, and part of the shocking, breaking thing that most people are not allowed to contemplate. They're not allowed to be exposed to is that these ideologies that we cling to, known as capitalism and consumerism, they require exponential growth, infinite growth. And although the universe is an infinite fractal in and of itself, and all things are fractal in nature, There are things that are finite within that. It's the very nature of fractalism. There is finite events and finite, collections, in the way that we can perceive this planet, it is difficult to perceive its otherness, its largerness, its sentientness without a little bit of effort. And we've made it harder on ourselves the last several thousand years. We have separated ourselves from our intuitive gifts to commune. But I digress. So yeah, that's the breaking news, folks. Not a place, a sentient being trying to communicate with us, but we have brainwashed ourselves into thinking it's just rocks and dirt and we can blow it up. So other news that I guess I should address because it's sort of the rage of the day. I've already been posting about it on Facebook, but having had not the time to make an episode of News Breaking News. I want to spell out for my listeners here in detail and with lots of honesty and compassion and with the prerequisite understanding that I approach this subject with nothing but unconditional love for everybody involved. Everybody. All of you, my brothers and sisters. Of whatever persuasion or ideological addiction you might be. But I argue in an unpopular opinion that, yes, trans rights are human rights and human rights are trans rights, but joining the military should not be lumped into that. No offense to those who support the troops and honor the troops. I get that. I don't disrespect the human beings who put their life at risk. But follow me on this. The way the system's been operating of late, it doesn't deserve our sacrifice. The wars we're in are nonsensical, and they are for profit. They are a business. They are part of the network of businesses that are destroying this sentient being that we cohabitate with, that we've brainwashed ourselves into thinking of as a place. See how it's all interconnected? War is not an accident, and war is not the result of any urgent pressure to retaliate anyone else's threat of destruction, because we don't need to engage. We don't need to do any of those things. Call me crazy. So I'm all for equality. So don't misunderstand my position, my friends. I daily, the jacket is behind me in my studio with me right now. When I wear the jacket, I'm not wearing it now because it's fuck off hot in California. But for most of the year, I wear a black, semi-casual, like a fucking blazer jacket. Part of my weird hipster image. There's at least one picture of me in it floating around on the internet. And on it is a safety pin. I'm an ally, hardcore advocate of identity safety. It's not about identity politics, but that people should be free to choose for themselves that which they want, and that within the bounds of do no harm, and I won't say common sense because I don't believe in that. I reject the notion of common sense. I think it's often used to browbeat people into thinking stupid shit. But let's put it this way. Reality. The universe is more infinite and varied, and people are more infinite and varied than what the societal brainwashing has allowed us to be. So I'm for equal rights for every living human being and every living entity beyond that in human form, because at the consciousness level, there is no distinction to be made. There is no gender. There is no identity. There's just consciousness being that which is form. That's some breaking news right there, folks. So, while I want to protect and support my brothers and sisters in humanity, regardless of whatever silly thing they want to do, as long as they're not hurting anybody else, because war is like the worst of those horrible things anybody could do. Sure, there's going to be crime, and we've got a way to figure out how to heal that away if we ever can be allowed to think in those terms. Shocking news, my friends, they control how we think, and they block modes of thinking or lines of reasoning. I don't want to call it logic, because logic fails as I've explained in other episodes. And the universe, logic fails the universe. The universe exists beyond logic, and there's a reason for that. But killing each other, and killing each other more for profit, so that those assholes over there that are making money on both sides of the argument that they made up for us to kill each other over, that's not what the universe is interested in us doing at all. Ever. There's zero need for that. So why do we let ourselves get suckered into arguing that it's a human right to sign up and do that? No. What is our human right is to transcend the very notion of everything that leads to war and heal the species in the tangible, holistic, genuine, energetic fashion that exists here in the universe that we've been lied to about for centuries. There's your breaking news headline that is not showing up anywhere in the news, folks. So when I say, I know that there's all kinds of angry words being said right now, and I am broadcasting only love and support and ally. I stand with everybody. Whether you're a human being or a human being that wants to be slightly different than they are. Whatever you are, you're a human being. And we should not consider organized murder for profit something that we want on the list of human rights that we defend and that we think everyone should have access to. We should be working our asses off to end war and the profiteering of it, and lay down our arms and I don't know, maybe what Jesus and everybody else said, turn them into something useful. Use the resources and the money and the ingenuity and the energy and the time spent killing each other, doing other groovier shit. God, I don't know why that's just not allowed to happen. Oh, I know why. Because of our system-wide addiction to greed. Currency is an imaginary system that we made up, and yet we are so addicted to it, we're willing to kill other human beings to defend the right to profiteer on killing other human beings. And we can't end that vicious cycle by killing the people who are doing it. And there's people asking for that, and I say to you humbly, my friends, no, that's just an ego trap. Don't fall for it. I hope I didn't offend anybody with that one, but yeah, if they ban, and there's a lot of this backlash of like people dressing up and being and all this hubbub about, oh well, I'm declaring myself transgender so that I don't have to, because of the people who are convinced that they're going for a draft soon out there. There's a whole swath of those who are, that's what's next. Let's not get caught up in the bickering. That just leads to anger, which leads to hate, which leads to the dark side. Remember? We've been warned. Let's just not volunteer for war. Let's make that a human right. Huh? Where's the coalition of everyone standing up for the human right to end war? Let's make that headline happen, folks. Cool. Hope you don't think I'm insane. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, by the way, if you didn't catch this, that the new hothead and alpha male in charge of everyone beating their chests, Scaramucci has yet to answer whether or not he will do the Fandango, and has deleted tweets after declaring himself the most transparent of public servants. Is being caught red-handed deleting a bunch of controversial tweets. I was going to look up samples, but also realized that's a bit old and stale now, and people probably already heard it. And not really noteworthy. Like, it's a pretty obvious trend there, right? These are all, like, alpha male junkie, borderline sociopath people. That's their problem. Let's not waste time hating them. How can we help them? I talk about it in as many segments as possible, just in case you're not getting the message. It's time to heal them. What else should we talk about? Oh, that's really old. Gosh. Shout out to Fox News personality Steve Hilton. Because he did a highlight. I think I already talked about this in a previous episode. Am I digging into recycled material? Maybe. I just couldn't record anything for several days there, and oh yeah, watch out for this pro-Russia creep, especially in churches. I'm telling you, there's an article on Fox News not more than 2 weeks ago. If you didn't see this, this is noteworthy, and if I already talked about it, I'm going to talk about it again now. Highlighting this, like, and I'm not anti-Russia, but let's be real. Putin ain't the good guy. He's wearing a black hat. And that's the game here. If you're already a spiritual person, you know that the war isn't really a war. It's about the if you're really, really deep on your path, you know that the light is not here to destroy the dark, and the dark is not here to destroy the light. What do I mean by that? If that's new to you, Russia is a ruse, but they're also not good faith actors, yo. They're still the recovering empire of Cold War crazy. And they are, guess what? Surprise, surprise, being just as manipulated by the ultra-rich, super fucking sociopaths who want to profiteer on global conflict. Do you think that only happens in third world countries? Blessed, it's going down. That's another thing. It's all connected, folks. If you haven't heard, where is it? Venezuela. This one's from Al Jazeera.com, only because that's what was the first one that came up. But look it up. I think it's a real thing. Deadly protests mar Venezuela constitutional vote. At least 9 were killed in clashes. But also, the reason they're deadly, the reason the people are uprising, it's not paid freaking... Yeah, that whole theory that the protest movement worldwide is being paid for by a handful of Hollywood elite or whatnot. Maybe, yes, maybe no. Who knows? The rich people can afford just about any of it, right? But from what I understand, from what I've heard, from really honest-sounding audio on PBS, which has not PBS, one of the radio stations that I listen to while I'm driving around. That's not a for-profit. It's not a corporate-owned radio. It's independent radio produced, by the power of its listeners' contributions. And they sent reporters down there, and the people are like, "No, man, they're trying to install a dictatorship on us here, and this is crazy. We will not stand for this usurping of our Constitution, and to try to transform it into a totalitarian thing." And that's what needs to be worried about. Empire wants a return of empire. Duh. The system has its inherent addictions because it is emblematic of the spiritual malady that is infecting the entire human species. Breaking news. If we are 99.9% biologically identical at the genetic code level, my friends, good morning, sunshine, then maybe some other crazy shit about human beings are also true, and it's been obfuscated at best, if not outright lied to about at worst. And here's one that I have on pretty good newsworthy authority from direct, from direct sources. Humanity is networked. We operate both as individuals and as a collective, and we ignore, are blinded to, and are deprived of some of the richer, more detailed, we don't even know how to describe them. They've been blocked from us by society, by those that oppress society. There are those who try to rein in and control society. But we as a whole are, what compromises society, or comprises society, pardon. And we are suffering a deep spiritual, sociopathic, self-destructive disease. And that disease is basically, can be described as the ego trap of ego traps, which leads to all these addictions with this profiteering and this wealth making. So watch out for that Russia creep here in the States, because what empire wants empire back. And what's better way to do it than to sneak in and re-infiltrate your religions? Mind you, I've been saying for years that all three major religions have been hijacked, not recently, centuries ago, and have been all complicit or implicitly part of the manipulation to keep humanity engaged in perpetual warfare. Since we invented organized murder as a sport, because people love to watch it. Remember the gladiators? That's literally what it was, folks. Breaking news. It was organized murder as sport. They made us addicted to it, and it energetically prevents us from advancing to a more powerful spiritual place. And so the calling is to end that. And and there are those who are called to play the dark side of things, and to promote war, and to inculcate others in the perpetuation of this crazy, endless war. Forgive my memory fail. I can't remember if I addressed this, because I think I mixed my piles of things I've already talked about from before I took that little hiatus at the end of season 1, and things that have happened in between then and now. But I'm gonna fill out this time, and use the whole 45 minutes. You might know of the shenanigans going on over in Iraq. The Kurds are gearing up to separate themselves from that cobbled together nation. And if you know anything about that history, it's the reason it's always a mess there is because imperialist minded, rich white people went over there to take the oil. Shocking news. No one talks about that anymore, but it's highly pertinent, and it's not just some bullshit in the past. They cobbled together a country made out of groups of people with hell-bent agendas to always be at perpetual war with each other, because they were already in the grips of, that sort of self-destructive addiction based on radical ideological differences on their own same religion. Don't tell me religion hasn't been hijacked to generate war and conflict, when people of the same religion are killing each other over different interpretations of the same religion, and manage to then, create more chaos out of this imposed democracy that was created for them on their behalf to, impose a new ideology that would supposedly... Ideology is never the solution. Breaking news. This just in. Ideology is never the solution, folks. You can't replace organized religion with a deadlier, more bloody, more pro-war organized religion. And that's what statism is. In all its form, in all its glory. That's what patriotism religion is. They make you worship war, even though you don't realize you're worshiping it. And they've been doing it to us for centuries. That's why these people are... And I don't... These people, that's horrible. I sound racist. I mean, that's why in each of our groupings by major, ethnic families, we still at tribal warfare with each other. And we're going to are we going to perpetuate it? We're winding down this interventionist colonial, white empire war that we went over there for. This is probably already really old news. They're going to do this referendum, an Iraq exit. And forgive me for not knowing what is going on at the most upfront of that since then. But if we haven't heard about it yet, we're being distracted by Russia creep. Brace yourselves. That might turn into crazy warfare. It might not. I will look into that over the next couple days. It's Sunday, so it's kind of a slow news day on the wire. that's an interesting story. Gold is trading higher than the dollar, folks. At least it was for a hot minute there about a week ago. And I have to look into that, too. See if that's still happening. But think about that. They took gold, they separated the gold and the dollar, and now you can trade gold at more expensive than the dollar. Why? You don't have any gold. And that makes it even more expensive to buy gold because you can massively manipulate the currency value against gold. So, that's a thing to watch for. If it keeps happening and keeps getting worse, then we're in for a real doozy. Because that kind of shit always spikes in the background, not covered much, but other than by the nerd specialists who are reporting for nerd specialists who are pretty much inculcated in whatever current, mess the economy's in, or is being, ruined by whatever. So, yeah, keep an eye on that kind of stuff. I hate to be too alarmist, but the saber rattling is obviously increasing, as I'm sure you've already heard. All the rage right now is North Korea shooting off missiles, and so I don't think I need to remind you that's happening, and that's happening for a reason. And with this Russia creep, with Russia being increasingly admired by the the base of the party that so adamantly was opposed to the Soviet Union and its various mutations since the end of the Cold War, etc. They're trying to divide the GOP down. It's already been a party in civil divide, right, for how many years now, and now they're really trying to play that extra division, dichotomy, get Republicans to get all self-righteous on each other's asses, and lo and behold, some of the same shit's probably creeping over on the the DNC side, right? The Democratic Party can't get its shit together. Every time I think of the Democratic Party, I want to pull an audio button and push that play that moment from Rick and Morty when Morty tells his sister to get her shit together. Get your shit together. I don't know how you put it in a backpack and take it to the shit store. I don't care, but get it together. My horrible Rick and Morty impression. Okay, that's enough of the breaking news. Obviously, I was way behind, and there's a bunch of things more to talk about. But presuming we're not about to, suffer nuclear war just this weekend, I'm sure we'll get all caught up. But remember, folks, that the real news is that which they're never letting us talk about, and it's more important than who to hate. It's more important than who the bad guy is. That's just reporting the problem. We know what the problem is. Even those of us who don't know, because it's all networked and it's all holographically, simultaneously, as above, so below, as without, so within, which is the full version of that axiom. Ancient wisdom from ancient ye olde times. There's some breaking news for you, folks. Yes, and it offends people who have picked polemic sides because they only see the ugly in their bad guys. When you think your team is wearing the white hat, then you only see the sins of the team opposing you, which you presume is wearing the black hat. But when it's the ideology is inherently us versus them about everything, then you're doing it to everybody. Get what I'm saying there, folks? That's the beginning. That's the entree to the real problem of where our society is at now. And there's equal access. You want to talk about human rights? Joining the military is not a human right. Here's breaking news. Reconnecting to Mother Earth That's your motherfucking human right, folks. Pardon my language. It just riles me up. That's genuine, like, not anger, but, you know, like, a passion. That's your fucking right to reconnect with Mother Earth. I'm not angry. I'm passionately trying to help you realize that you can do that for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go figure out that, go trust Mother Earth will guide you to her. All right, I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hang tight, because, more episodes will be dropping soon. And like I mentioned at the top of or at the end of another segment, I'm going to be making it a priority to be live on Sprecher every Sunday. And I'm going to be focusing in on see what gets me more of an audience. Sunday morning time or more of a Sunday evening time. I'm Pacific Standard. So if you want to tune in live, just know that I'm over on LA time. Sprecher.com. You can tune in live and join chat room and post your questions and or comments as the show goes on. May peace, love, and grooviness be with you. Keep watching that news. And join us in the effort to try to break the silence on the news. To try to get this kind of thinking out there. Because it's getting crazier and crazier. And guess what Mother Nature brings to us as a gift when we reconnect with her? Healing. Real healing. Genuine healing. For free. No crazy bullshit profiteering, tax dodging, fake bullshit healthcare reform plan needed. That, I know, crazy? Is that crazy talk? I don't know. But guess what? They've kept us from trying for centuries, so we don't know whether or not Mother Nature can help us get to some... I'm starting to suspect that maybe that's what the problem is, right? That we've never been allowed to try. We really haven't. Not at the species-wide level. And that's the breaking news, folks. You can worry all you want about your status, but you're wasting your time because this is a collective effort that we need to achieve. We need to do like a team quest objective. All right. Keep coming back. Appreciate what I jibber jabber about. Give it a share. Give some likes. Post a review. Help a brother out. Reach a more audience. I absolutely humbly welcome your critique. Lay it out for me and I will try to wrap my brain around it. Peace out, folks.